Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the ToastyBros, and today we're putting together a PC that is going to game for under $200, $170 total.
So this PC is basically a gaming PC that is accumulated from parts that we get on trade-in or just given to us basically over at our PC selling business, PCBros.tech, and all the parts value up to about $170 today. And we're just gonna see exactly how well a $170 custom-built PC that is not an Optiplex can actually game. But before we do that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by Thermaltake and their new Tower 500 mid-tower case with a unique tower design to set your build out from the crowd, support for eATX and really any ATX motherboard with plenty of room for expansion, 3 beautiful tempered glass side panels to show off your creation, and support for a 360mm radiator and ample airflow for your next high-performance gaming PC build. If you're looking for a no-compromise unique PC case, then look no further than the Tower 500 from Thermaltake. Thanks to Thermaltake for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get into it, shall we?
And now, a quick disclaimer, keep in mind, this PC is $170, so don't expect this thing to just go to the moon and back. And obviously, I know there's a lot of people in chat that might say, well, I got a PC with the 1060 and an i7 for free. Well, that's great for you. We're so proud of you, but this is supposed to be a replicable build. So let's say someone only has $170. They really want a custom build. They don't want to do an Optiplex. This is about the best you're going to be able to get. So we're excited to go over all the parts and explain, what each thing is and also how they got to us. Because I mean, look at this thing. It says Bad Boy V2, and you're probably wondering, why does it say that?
You just smacked the motherboard. The motherboard is officially dead now.
Dead.
But yeah, there's a lot of stories behind this hardware, and hopefully everything just works together like it's supposed to, but sometimes that doesn't work out. So let's just go over each individual part and how it makes up this PC build.
Ladies and gentlemen, first thing up, we have first things first, we got a motherboard CPU RAM combo. Now, normally this is kind of like how we would buy something from AliExpress, but a little bit cheaper. This is more like an eBay special because the AliExpress ones are like fake motherboards usually. This is actually a legit OEM, like HP Dell style board. It's not exactly server grade or anything, but it does have a Xeon E3 1220V3 already seated, and that is a 4-core 4-thread. It's basically, if I remember correctly, it performs like a 2nd or 3rd gen i5, like in between that and the i7. We also have 8 gigs of RAM, and I think these are both SK Hynix, yeah, 4 gigs, so dual channel. That is upgradable. You could add more RAM if you wanted to. You can also get a better CPU as well. I think in theory you could go with like a 2nd or 3rd gen i7 in this. I think it's the, if anyone wants to do some research, that's the motherboard model right there. So you guys can look that up.
And there is a Xeon that has 4 cores and 8 threads also.
That's basically an i7, yeah. They've also changed the CMOS out for us. Thank you, Will. Yeah, that's this little guy right here. It's not a bad idea to change these out of these older boards because otherwise they'll lose settings a lot of times and then randomly it won't boot in and you'll be like, what's happening? And then of course the motherboard. This is just a pretty standard like micro ATX OEM board, but luckily since it's 2nd gen, everything's pretty standard. You got your 24 pin, you have your CPU 4 pin, you have PCI lanes, and even the front panel's pretty standard. So once you go past like 3rd gen, that's when it starts to get kind of weird, so make sure you do some research before buying. Now this one right here, this is a rare drive right here. This is a JY120G. This is 120 gig solid state SSD. And was this actually from our good friend, Uncertain?
Uncertain Logic.
Yeah, Uncertain Logic. So yeah, this thing has some memories to it. So he used to send us a lot of like just random stuff from China that he thought was like interesting that you could buy at like the malls and stuff there. And so the reason this says Bad Boy V2 is because I think this is like one of 20 bad drives that we found out of that batch, but apparently just had some weird partitioning on it and Will was able to fix it. So yeah, now we're gonna use it after all these years. It finally has a home. And then we're gonna just add this hard drive over here. This will be like your game storage. We'll basically partition this just as extra storage and you'll store your games on there while Windows will be on here. But it's a Western Digital 640 Blue. It has a check mark on it. I don't know if that means anything, but it has a check mark. So I guess someone checked it at some point.
Someone checked it.
Someone checked it.
Now for the graphics card. This right here is a GTX 660. Yeah, you heard that right, a 660. Now, we actually stumbled upon this card in the worst rated Walmart PC that we bought and reviewed on the channel. Hit down the top corner if you haven't seen that. But it came with a 660 and I was actually pretty impressed with the performance. And when I went back to PC Bros just to plan some content, Will was like, hey, I have this whole build of 660. We're gonna use it for PC Bros. I was like, well, I wanna make a video on that because I've been wanting to do a build with a 660 because they're way under $100 and they still have 2 gigs of VRAM and they perform decently still. So yeah, we're gonna see exactly how well this one can perform. This one is a little dusty. We'll try to clean it up a little bit before we build in it, but yeah, this seems like a perfect pairing for this Xeon processor. Now this right here is a tested power supply. It's a SUS brand, it's 400 watts, but it's not 80 plus. So when you're getting power supplies like this, obviously you wanna test it and make sure they work. We have tested extensively and it works perfectly fine, but obviously if you are wanting to err on the side of caution, you can buy a new power supply as well. But again, this whole build is meant to be a used parts haul, and we're just trying to pick up stuff that will work for this build, and it is 400 watts, so more than enough wattage than what we need. Interesting power supply, we're gonna give it a shot. Now the one new thing I had to buy was a case, because we didn't have a case that would work for this build. This is a DIY PC case that comes with some ARGB built in, ARGB fan in the back. I think there's a little bit of RGB up front, I could be wrong about that, but yeah, no, tempered glass, and it's a pretty solid case. Of course you can go with like the cheapest of the cheap cases if you wanna save some money, but here at the Toasty Bros, we wanna make even the cheapest of PCs look a little bit good with some RGB. And yeah, it makes up a $170 computer. So let's just not waste any more time and put this thing together.
All right guys, so this is Apex Legends, and we're on some very, very low settings.
As low as it goes.
Yeah, 1600 by 900, and pretty much as low as it goes. I mean, really the only thing else you can do is 720p. We are getting 60 FPS, it's just hard to tell what I'm looking at. Not the best PC for that. Where are you?
Ooh.
The jukes. Oh, I just missed everything. Leave me alone. All right, you know what? This is winnable. That's a freaking devotion.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God.
Wait,
oh, we
what?
did it. And by we, I mean them mostly.
They did it. Woo! Go team.
I'm hoping he jumps off. Oh, he didn't jump off.
Woo!
I was gonna clean up the mess. See, Apex Legends, AAA title, and realistically, like Warzone's even harder to run than Apex, so like I wouldn't even bother. But yeah, we're probably gonna test out some games that are more likely to be played.
We're pretty CPU bound right now, but it's not to the point where it's like a really stuttery experience. Most of the time in games like this, when you're very CPU bound, you do get a lot of stutters. Yeah, still 90 to 100 FPS most of the time, so I'm very happy with this. Wow, there's a lot of bodies around here. I'm scared. Gotta prep. Oh! Oh, oh no, there's somebody else. My wolf friend, where are you? Pleasantly playable. Look at that, great. Let's move on to the next game.
All right, guys, we're playing some good old CSGO, and we're playing with a whole lot of bots right now.
The FPS is way better than I...
It is, it's looking pretty good. That's a real person, it's a real person, I'm scared.
Is it because we're using hardware that would have been relevant during the CSGO era?
Oh, no, I got botted. Is there no way you can just like auto spawn with that?
Yeah, you gotta hit F3, I think, to stop the auto.
Oh, I got off. MLG pros.
Oh, there we go. Oh, man, there we go.
Lieutenant Pete Maverick. But we'll just go with the random weapons. Screw it. Let's go. That was CSGO.
Yeah.
And everyone play again.
Let's try one more game. All right, guys, the last game we're gonna be playing is Rainbow Six Siege, and we're running like low settings 1080p, and we're getting 90 FPS. We are in like a training scenario, so let me know down below if there is a major difference between this and like the main game. Yeah, we're trying to breach our way in here. We're just gonna go hold. Ah! It's a tutorial on how not to play this game. Oh! I found more of them. Let's slowly crawl. They got music playing up here too. Not in the kids' room!
Located a bomb. Has been located.
Oh, there we go.
Move to its location and plant a diffuser.
We're diffusing, guys. Oh! Oh, they're flashing me? This ain't good.
30 seconds.
Like I'm in a vulnerable position. Oh! They just threw a grenade.
Eliminated all friendlies.
Wait, hold up. They just broke through a window behind me and just blew me up. So that didn't work very well. But yeah, I mean, it runs. Yeah, for $170, given that we just kind of picked off the shelf parts that we had over our PC selling business, stuff from trade-in, just deal hunting, I think it's pretty good. I mean, it does have its limitations, but as an overall functioning computer, I think it's pretty good. Let's go and wrap this video up real quick.
All right, guys, we just got done benchmarking this PC that was under $200. And in all honesty, I am super impressed. I know a lot of you at home might be like, oh, you know, I could do so much better and blah, blah. And if you can, that is awesome. We do highly recommend going for that. But for the people that want to maybe try to replicate this and, you know, they only have that much money and they want a custom build, this is definitely a pretty good route to go.
So you can use this as a blueprint and change a few things here and there if you want to save some money or you find an even better deal. But it's just cool to see that under $200, you can make a custom PC that's not just a Dell Optiplex that you slap in a graphics card in. So if you want to pick up any of the parts from today's video, we'll leave some eBay searches down below. They will be affiliate links and will help us out. That's just going to point you in the right direction. They're not going to be specific listings. You're going to have to do a little bit of hunting to get the exact pricing we did here because, again, these are good deals that we picked up, but it is more than doable with some patience.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
So this PC right here will actually be for sale at PCBros.tech. We have PCs ranging from the $100 price range all the way up to the $5,000 price range.
And you can save 2% by using code ToastyBros2 on checkout on anything on the website. So definitely check out the website, link down below. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace out.
The code is not TB20. It is not TB20.
You buttholes.